back here again with another presentation of the Issues Room, a social media virtual page here on Facebook, YouTube. This is the platform that is alternative to many of the other social media platforms in cyberspace. This evening, we will bring you an organization here in the US to discuss community issues. And we'd like to welcome all of you, our viewers and listeners, wherever you are, to our 74th edition here in the Issues Room. Tuesdays, Fridays is our show time. Today is Tuesday, July 12th, 2022. Volcano Shelton here with you. And it's Moses Sandy on the other side in Delaware. Good evening. Welcome, Moses. It's good to have you back here.
It's always a pleasure uh, to team up with you in the issues room. Let me say hi to our many viewers and listeners globally. It's always a pleasure coming back to talk to you. Welcome to today's discussion.
We want to encourage all of you, our viewers and listeners, wherever you are. Please share the link, share the page, invite a friend, let someone know that you're here. The conversation tonight going to be a good one. Again, it's not all about politics; it's about community, human interest stories, and this organization is making progress here in the U.S., particularly in central New Jersey. So we'll be coming with that conversation. But in the meantime, Moses, what's trending in the news in Liberia or the world?
We got a couple of national developments, and let's start with Liberia. This week beginning Monday, the Liberian government started a 3 day uh, cabinet retreat, bringing together agencies of government, cabinet ministers, to present their accomplishments, their achievements over the years, discussing their challenges, their plans for the future. So where there's in Nima County where the retreat is being held, there has been massive turnout of people. But there have also been some strong criticism, and volcano something that really stood out to a lot of people. Now you tell me, you have corporate experience. The Liberian government asking some public agencies to make presentations of their accomplishments, challenges, and plan for the future within 5 minutes. You tell me, volcano, is that realistic?
It's unrealistic. It's
Absolutely.
unrealistic because these are things that are supposed to have been done during the course of the year.
Mhm.
And when you don't do evaluations, you're not checking to see if people are doing what they're supposed to do. No audits. Then at a retreat, you want people to bring you a summary of their accomplishments. And let me go back. Is this guy doing these retreats annually, or is it out of the clear blue skies now that we head into elections? Because I saw that, remember them doing one in Grand Bassa County,
I
but I don't know.
it's my understanding that the government has not been consistent
Yeah,
with
because
these
it's supposed to be an
retreats.
annual event,
It's
right?
supposed to be an annual event where they would sit and talk about the progress, challenges, and the plan for the future. They have not done that consistently. The government, even at the cabinet level, the government rarely meets. So, like you said, it is really difficult for someone to discuss a department or discuss situation at the Ministry of Information in terms of successes, challenges, and our plan for the future within 5 minutes. It's just incomprehensible. And what stood out too is that as part of the plan, the government allocated what 2 hours to sports, but they asked public officials to make reports within 5 minutes. That just suggests that the government, these people just went up there to show off.
But I wanted to show
Nothing.
off.
Yeah,
That's additional cost on the taxpayer.
absolutely.
because when you go to a cabinet retreat, you're talking about stipends and per diems given to all these people that are going. And
Mhm.
if you these guys are going with the special aids, they're going with other people behind
Drivers,
them. Some of them
and
carrying securities and all these
food.
people. So how much you are allotting to each ministry, and how many people are going, and who's
Yeah.
going on their own rather than government sponsorship.
Mhm.
You talked about accommodation. That's a lot.
Very
And so
costly.
this government puts more on the country than rather delivering for the people.
Yeah,
And that's just the fact.
I agree. And another thing too, Volcano. There has been this report, or there have been several reports of malfeasance, brazen malfeasance in the administration. As part of the presentation, the government asked the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and other entities of government to come and report, in terms of what they are doing to fight graft. I just felt that to make such a request, it come
It's
across as
preposterous.
being very
The pre-
preposterous. It come
And
across as being insensitive.
the preposterous nature of this is that uh, you don't know what's happening.
The reports are
Okay.
all over the place.
Yes, international community, saying these things. Your stakeholders, your partner in progress, are pointing finger. It's palpable. It's everywhere. And then you come to
Everywhere.
ask
Yeah,
people
to
to
come and
create.
tell us what you're doing
But
to fight
but
graft.
isn't this the same president who said he did not receive the report on
Mhm.
his last investigation for Janine Cooper, the agriculture minister? So are
Agriculture
you telling me
minister.
up to this time you don't know what's trending with regards to
That's in there.
corruption in the country and
Mhm.
all the accusations and allegations? So it's interesting. But let's not dwell on this. The next
And,
one.
and 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 quickly, let me just say this: Volcano. It was so shameful, and for the government to spend thousands of dollars to go for a cabinet retreat. President Weah delivered his opening statement in darkness. I just couldn't believe that. The presidency being reduced to that level? The president of the Republic of Liberia going to deliver an opening statement at such a critical event, no electricity. You tell me, Volcano, how serious are these people?
But let's stop there, Moses. If the president is flying back from a trip whose life is in the skies and in the hands
Yeah,
of God and the pilot,
yeah.
and he's coming down to land, and he said, Mr. President, no lie, you got to go back.
No, yeah, man.
How much more about standing on the ground delivering to his ministers? So,
In
yes,
darkness, my
I
man.
think the truth here is that people miss priorities. They
These
don't put
priorities,
the
man.
money to where it's focused. The
Mhm.
money you take to go to a cabinet retreat to go do crowd ball stuff, that money could be working for other purposes. For instance, electricity, you know, all of those monies this government is using for these trips, they come back, they don't tell us anything. The president don't say a word. He doesn't hold press conference, no engagement.
Nothing.
I never thought Liberia would come to this point, but that's where it's at. And
Yeah.
for Liberia to be removed from this point, a lot has to be done, and it's collective.
Mhm.
It's collective.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's see what comes out of this retreat. But I don't think it's anything that is new.
It's
Nothing new
it,
under the sun.
I think the guy just went to show off. Nothing concrete is going to come from out of there. Yeah. Now, the other top story, and this is very important for Liberia. The political leader of the People's Liberation Party, Dr. Daniel Cassell, the issues room had the opportunity of attending a town hall meeting that the PLP held in Clifton Heights, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. And Dr. Cassell told his supporters in the cross section of Liberians that assemble at the All Nation Christian Church that he, Daniel Cassell, is not a criminal. He's not been prosecuted and he's not in prison. I saw him. He didn't look like someone who is in prison. He seemed well groomed. You were there, Volcano. You saw him. He said, look, and I think he demonstrated some level of leadership too. He said, look, I do admit that my 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 company, which provides services to individuals struggling with psychological problems, mental health, and addiction, drug and alcohol, addiction. He said, hey, his company is being probed for reported wrongdoings. But as a leader, he takes responsibility and he believes in the U.S. criminal justice system. He believes that until proven guilty, you know, under the law, he, Donald Cassell, his company, is presumed innocent until otherwise. And he says that with God's on the side of him and the company, justice will surely prevail. And I think that's what every leader should do. When something goes wrong, you say, hey, yes, I'm not a saint. I take ownership, but let this be probed. So the matter is currently being probed. He says that the PLP will remain a serious contender in the 2023 presidential election. In fact, according to him, very soon he will be announcing to the world, including Liberians, how soon he's going to be in Liberia. I think that's a good news for his people. He says the PLP uh, has the highest number of scholarship beneficiaries in Liberia. And not only that, the PLP, according to him, was set up to help the marginalized, the disenfranchised, and the hopeless in Liberia. And they have been doing that. They are catering to Liberians in the area of transportation. They provide low cost public transportation. They are also providing services to Liberians in the areas of health, education, and social services. According to Dr. Cassell, the current political situation in Liberia is sad. He says Liberia needs a savior. The future of the country, Cassell says, is doomed. And there's a need for all Liberians to come together to ensure that George Weah and the CDC is kicked out of the presidency come 2023. What do you think for Ghana?
Well, it's not what I think. I think it's what it is. It is clear that all of the opposition forces have the same intent. What I want to put forth is that have they been able to, collaborate and become one group? If that's the case, unfortunately, that's not the case. The same Reddit, it was the hope that the Liberian people looked for, and in no time they're now disintegrated. Cassell was very clear that it is not impossible for him to become president by just his party.
Mm-hmm.
He said anything is possible, but it's not going to be an ordinary feat. It will
Absolutely.
be an uphill battle, and he will be open to a merger, but he will look at the terms and conditions put forth by any political party that want to join forces with him. And the terms and conditions must not be for the political aggrandizement of any of those parties. Instead, for the nation and the people. And I would like to close on that note.
And
Moses,
I
we're back
agree.
here. We're
I
back
agree
here
with that.
in the issues room. I'd like to
Sure.
quickly welcome Mapla Sia Nikia, Jenkins, Kabongo, Abraham O'Cully Jr., our correspondent Iman Rovia and rather Stephen Bender, who is of KMTV, was also at that town hall meeting.
Yeah.
Well, tonight we have a very important discussion, um, one that is community driven. And I'm still having this problem with the cold. I'm
Yeah,
fighting it.
I can
Trying
tell
to,
from
yeah,
from your
it's just
voice.
not
Yeah,
going away. It's stubborn.
yeah, but it's gonna
One,
be okay. It's gonna
one
be
that is
okay.
community driven,
Yeah,
one that is in the interest of Liberians, both in the diaspora and Liberia.
yeah,
And the organization we're featuring here tonight is the Liberian Community Association of Central New Jersey here in the Americas. We have two important people, but the first is in studios. Let me welcome the Vice President who has been elected to the new leadership, Mr. Peter Massaquoi of Trenton, New Jersey, and a member of the All
of
Association
the
of Liberian
association.
Journalists in the Americas, and also a young business entrepreneur who is growing very rapidly. Good evening,
Yeah,
Peter. Welcome to the Issues Room. Your mic is muted.
Good evening, Fukano, and good evening, Moses. It's a pleasure to be on this platform. I
hmm
know we've been on this for a little over a month now, but I'm privileged to be here. Once a journalist, always a journalist.
absolutely.
Thank you. Um,
Thank you.
your colleague David Capilli was backstage and he just got back. Let me bring him in quick. He is the director of communications. David, could you just come up a little because you're a little too low?
Yeah,
Thank
Sure.
you very much. Right there, you look perfect now.
yeah.
Welcome, David, to the issues room for the first time.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shelton and Mr. Cindy. My name is David Copley, and Honorable Vice President, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Again,
How
I live
yourself?
in Hamilton, New Jersey, and I'm privileged to be on this platform. And thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
a
Let me just
it's a
start with you,
pleasure.
David.
Welcome,
Let
David.
me let me let me quickly start with you, David. Uh, as the director of communications, this is something probably you've already researched, taking over the communication arm of the LCA. Now, the LCA again is the Liberian Association, uh,
Central.
Liberian Community Association in the Central New Jersey area. Tell us exactly, give us an overview of this organization, why it was formulated, and what is its objective, and what does it want to accomplish. Just in a summary.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much, and let me say thank you to the President, Mr. Anthony Paye, for giving me the opportunity to serve our community. Like you said, the community is all about Liberians living out here in the central New Jersey area and its metro politan cities and townships. And the reason this community come together as a group, because you may be aware that some of us came here as one person and one member of your family. You don't have a big family here. So the family you have here that got your back is your community, your country. So part of the reason why this community came together is for us to work as a unit, because your problem become a problem, our problem become individual problem, but when we come together as a family, this help us to solve bigger problem. That's one. The second part is people live out here, and one time I was somewhere working, and this guy came to me and said, the problem about immigrants, they're between the season. When you go back home, they say, oh, they come from America, and then the society don't accept you back there. And then you hear sometimes they ask you where you from originally. So we between and between. So those are issues we want to solve. So this community, basically, we have people come here young, live here, get old, have health issues. There are resources out there they can't access, except people go there as a unit to access those resources and be able to pass it on to them. There are pieces of education living from Liberia coming out here that you need to start, and you need somebody to go out there. So this association came together to solve a general problem. So over the couple of years, there have been some lapses in leadership. And we are grateful to the Union of Liberian Association in America, ULA, for coming in and having this special election that brought Mr. Peter Masakwe as vice president, brought in Mr. Anthony Pai as president, brought in Roland as Secretary General and Mr. Kelvin elects, and also brought in Mr. Rufus Peters and other board members. This organization is for all Liberians living out here. And part of the things they will be working on in the long term and the short term will be looking at immigration issues. Like we live out here. There are people who get into problems, they don't know their way out. This organization was put together to be able to go after those things, help them with immigration issues where they can be able to be helped. And more to that, like look at the simplest thing of insurance, like health insurance, life insurance. People are not educated to it. So those are issues that we will be tackling. But more to that, when you live in a city, a township, a community, and you come from a particular demographic, you should have a database, you should have a number, because this is the world of number. This is the world of data. So part of our job, we will be putting up a very good database that we can track Liberians in everywhere they live, every township. So when we are engaging, for example, the township of Princeton, Lawrenceville, Hamilton, Ewing, we will be telling them we have this amount of Liberian living out here, and we want you to formulate policy that will affect their lives, not just to ride over and pay attention to other folks. So basically, the vice president is here, but let's say collectively is for the betterment of this community. Not just that, but we also have back home. We are here. Many of us here, we have families back home. What do we do to reach out back home? The opportunity we have to be here, how do we extend those back home? Those are the focus. And this leadership of Mr. Anthony Pai and Peter Masakwe will be focused more on unifying the Liberian community. It has been a long time since we had a leadership. So the special election, the special leadership, and the newly elected board and leadership of this community will bring together this group to help all Liberians work together. As you may know, Thomas Waweya and the likes came from right here. The likes of Charles Taylor came from right here. The likes of the Minister of Sports live right here. So, we've been offering Central New Jersey and metro area, been offering a lot. So, but now we have to do it as a unit to affect everybody. So when it
You,
happened
you,
to
you
one,
said,
you want to get involved.
you said something was long, been long term. How long has this organization been in existence before Moses comes in?
Yeah.
Prior to that, Liberians have been here since the 1970s. Have they been united? I can talk more, but you know that since back in 2016, the Liberian community started to say, okay, we are doing things as individuals. Why not we come together? Why not we have this issue of unity? Why not your problem become a problem? Why not your problem and other stuff become everybody's problem? So it goes as far back as the 1970s, but unifying this group coming together, it has been since the 2010, let's say 2012 coming up. And to be incorporated as it is, the vice president going to throw a lot of light on that because they have that, the power to give the historical fight. But the truth is, Liberians been here since the 1970s, and we've been families. Your problem be my problem being your problem. So once this is what we have, we now have to hold together as a unit to go block. So 12 years and above, there have been leadership crises out here. So what this new leadership is doing now is collaborating with the legs of the former leaders, Tyler Miller and Mr. Mr. Cully and other people who serve this community. They want to make sure, our people say you can sit on the old mat to plow the new one, provided the old one was good. If there was some crickiness, that will straighten it and we move.
Okay.
Thank
And the
you.
vice president will come in
Yeah.
and just put some light to it.
Yeah. So, Mr. Vice President, once again, let me welcome you to the issues room. Look, you guys represent the Liberian community in Central New Jersey. So when we speak of central New Jersey, what are the towns or cities that make up central New Jersey? And in terms of our Liberian population, what is the number? Do you have a number right now?
Well, even though we are still building our database, but we've
Yeah.
been obtaining numbers from both the city, the state, and other public record.
Hmm.
We have an estimated close to 7,000 Liberians that
Okay.
live within the Central Jersey area and metropolitan areas. The Central Jersey area covers the township of Ewing, New Jersey, Trenton, we have Hamilton, we have Lawrenceville, we have Bradenton, Willoughboro. The metro area covers area like Morrisville, Bristol, and several other areas in certain part of Pennsylvania and Lavington. So I mean, it's a big community. You live in Delaware, Mr. Fukano live in the state of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. You know, Bristol, there are many Liberians that lives over there. It's almost like the headquarters compared to Central Philadelphia. So there are many Liberians. And one of the reasons why we are emphasizing on the database issue, like the director of communications stated, we want to be able to capture everybody. Take for example, during the just ended elections, even though we had limited time period, but we had little over 1,200 persons that registered.
Okay.
There was not much awareness carried out because they preserved the time frame, but there are more Liberians that even got to know about election, even though it was late because of the media publicity that was done during the debate process and what have you. So now people are getting to know more about this community because 12 years or almost 12 years of no active leadership, people tend to forget. So the community only been relying on other organizations that been there doing other stuff on the social level that ought to be hanging to, but there was no official body together like the leadership we have now to advocate for Liberians, like the way we have the Hispanic community or the Latino community, the Brazilian community, or people from the Asian community or what have you. So now the Liberian community is here to advocate for our people to make sure the basic social services needs that they deserve from both the federal, the state, and the county level will be able to benefit that. So that's what we are here to do, and we started on a very positive note.
Okay. So for now, what are your immediate plans?
Well, election just took place about a month ago, and the leadership headed by Mr. Anthony Pai, me and other members of the executive, we were able to partner with one of the best company in the United States and were able to obtain an office space. By the matter of fact, will be officially dedicated on July 26th.
Oh
That's a
wow.
major break because there are many Liberian organizations that are there, they don't have office space. It have been our goal, and we ran on the campaign promise that on day one, we're going to make sure we have somewhere we call our office space so that we can discuss official matters and work for the community. Because if you want to access a grant for the state or the federal, you need a proper address that people can be able to send communication. People might want to pay you a visit. So we can run the organization from somebody's basement or from somebody's backyard. So that's the first thing Mr. President did by reaching out into the community and were able to partner with one of a company, a vibrant company that been helping thousands of Liberians years back, and they're willing to work with us to give us the office space, which of course we're glad. Another thing that we did on the one of our office, we noticed that there are many senior citizens in the Liberian community, people that don't have any relatives. Some of them may be abandoned or maybe their relative far away. They need help. What we did was we decided to carry out some cleanup exercise to identify with them that the community care. Because you remember, during the campaign, we said senior citizen sustainability is part of our plan. So we decided to reach out to them. We did that. Coincidentally, we had the Mother's Day, Father's Day program that came up as a way of collecting data. We decided to organize the Mother's Day program to recognize all mothers within the Liberian community. It was the first of a kind, if people can self me right. We did that, it was certificated, and we did the same for Father's Day. And we've been planning a series of other activities coming up. But Mr. Sandy, we are new. We have a comprehensive action plan to help drive the community in the right direction because it is our goal that the young people in the Liberian community in the United States, there are some people facing mental health issues. There are other people facing issue of drugs. So we are partnering with several other organizations so that we can have these people get motivation of people that have similar situations that can talk to them so that life can be changed. We are also carrying a financial literacy program. People, not many people know about investing that $1 or $2. You can work to Walmart and make $13 or $14 per hour, but if you put your money to the right place, you can still do better for yourself here and your family back home. So we are creating all of these programs into place. So what we have on our desk right now is the national event, the July 26 program. Like we
Okay.
mentioned, the community have been lacking leadership. So for the fact that the Liberian community has a leadership now, we want to use it as an opportunity to unify our community by organizing this national event, which is the July 26, where in every other exotic group within our borders, our community can come together and we can work to support each other to move our community forward. So we plan to do the parade. Is a tradition on the 23rd. That Saturday morning. It will be the parade in Trenton. From there, we're going to have a sports and cultural festival. Now, remember, we have several other townships in which that covers the central Jersey and the metropolitan area. We try to change the dynamics of when they having program in Trenton because everybody know about Trenton. So we say, you know what, our administration will decentralize our activities. So this time around, we're taking it to Ewing. Ewing is just less than 5 minutes from Trenton. So it is a very beautiful place. So that other Liberians in our other areas, the city government of the township of Ewing can know that there is a leadership that exists, an organization that supports Liberians. That way, Liberians that living in that particular area will come in direct contact with the city authorities and establish that contact. So we're going to have the sports and culture festival that day. We'll have Lulu tournament. We'll have checker tournament. We'll have the pool tables. Women will play NAFO. They'll play keeper to bring back our memories, things that we did back home. So it's all about the culture and sports culture festival. And to support this, we're bringing in Fatu Gifler. You know the history of Fatu Gifler, Liberia cultural ambassador. She's a phenomenal superstar in our country with a lot of history. She'll be coming to Trinidad the Grace that occasion. We also have Fale the Self Man. He will also be in town to perform. We have the Liberia cultural ambassador in the United States, one Denise Chokoska. They will all be here to grace the occasion. And there's a big after party where the guys are like an independent ball where the superstars coming to perform. There will be a little cover charge because we pay them to come and we need to raise money for the community. It's all geared towards generating funds and uniting our people. And then we have all the programs that the Senior Citizen retreat coming up in August, sponsored by TD Bank. It's a very big partnership. TD Bank in New Jersey. They're going to carry all these financial literacy training for our senior citizens, for people who want to know more about turning over that 401k into getting fixed interest annuity. Because not many people know about disability insurance. If you're Asian, you should be thinking about that because there's a possibility you could go to a nursing home. What plan do you have for yourself? So we're working on all of these things to educate our people. That's the role of the community. Not only sitting there to have party and do all of you. So we do the social aspect, like we've been having a series of social gatherings because it's summertime. We have less than 3 months to enjoy the hot weather. So we have to blend social activity with our actual programs that are coming up. So for now, that's what we've been working on. And we have a lot of good stuff for the community. And we can assure them that they are in good hands. The leadership headed by Anthony Kwai, we are off for serious business. We've been reaching out to so many people. So, and not to stop that, we met with the city of Trenton, the leadership, through the mayor, Mayor Reed. And in our acquaintance meeting, guess what? The city of Trenton is going to host the Liberian flag on Monday, the 25th of July at the city hall at 5 p.m. We want to invite the media as well. And we want to encourage all Liberians to come there. At that flag hosting, Liberians will come in direct contact with that state and city officials. And guess what? On July 26th, there will be another flag hosting at Mercer in Ewing, at which time there will be presentation made. And then at 11 p.m. after the flag hosting, we will officially cut the ribbon to the community office. So people will get to know where that official will be working from to do official business for that. So, we've been doing extremely well on the relatively short period of time with no money in the bank. But we coming from the business background, we bringing a lot of new ideas and programs to see how best we can help the community raise from low to high. That's what we've been doing.
And quickly, Moses, everything you said here, I see some innovative spin on them. A lot of organizations are not doing the things you're doing. uh, we just hope for, fruition, because sometimes it's easier to say these things, and then we look 2 3 years, like George, we have promised the Liberian people, we, we can't see some of the things that was promised. But let me come back to what Patrick, I mean Thomas, rather, Thomas Awaji is saying here tonight. He said we have districts and county associations in every city and state in the United States. How come our districts and counties back home are in bad shape? A lot of people join these organizations here in the US as a means to run for political offices in Liberia. What are we doing to improve the lives of our people on the grounds in Liberia?
And that's a good question. And let me address this. The administration of Anthony Pai and Peter Massacre, together with our energetic cabinet officials and our board members, we are not just focused on the United States. Come December this year, we're going to launch the sanitary power program for Liberians, young ladies. About 1,000 people stand to benefit from that initiative. It's coming from the women wing of the Liberian Community Association of Central Jersey. So we have a lot of programs. We have scholarship program. We have computer literacy program that coming up, wherein we're going to participate with various schools that already have the programs, but they need sponsors. They need support. So we know that we may not have the capacity to provide all of these computer equipment. So what can we do? In America, somebody can volunteer to, someone can pledge $100 or $50 to sponsor a child within our school. It's an initiative that will come from the Liberian community. We're going to do that. And I can tell you what, I don't want to break the news, but I want to officially invite the Issue Room Press team at the Flex hosting program on July 26th at our Mercer. And you're going to get a big news. You're going to have the Consul General of Liberia. He's going to call the ribbon. You're going to have the CEO of our Mercer, Steve Cook. He will be there. There are a lot of exciting news that are coming up for the Liberian community in terms of partnership, wherein the art of maneuver is going to be built based on the partnership that we have with these people. You talk about multi-million-dollar facility that will take care of the needs of disadvantaged young people. That's the type of work we've been doing here. If I'm not mistaken, that will be the first of its kind for a Liberian association to partner with a world-class company to take development back home to help our people. We've been doing this behind the scene in the absence of money. We didn't even stop there. I mentioned TD Bank. TD Bank is taking up a step. They have a lot of financial literacy program that is coming up, how to train people in career development. They're doing that. My company, the Peter Massacre Insurance, has partnered with company on Wall Street. We're going to provide all that type of benefit for the young people or career seminar. And this is the big catch right here. Do you know how many Liberians own their own businesses in the state of New Jersey and the metro areas? We're bringing them together for the Liberian Merchandise Association. I'm spearheading our team. For the first time, Liberians going to have their own job fair. We want to make sure that if you have opening a Peter Massacre Insurance Agency, there should be a Liberian there as a receptionist or an insurance agent. It's all about impacting people. It will be like a one-stop shop for every Liberian. And these are the difference we bring to the community, not only to just talk, gossip, or sit back. We are there to work for the people. We are there to bring them in direct contact with other people that have been there, that have the experience and willing to help. And this is why we're doing that. So we want to invite you to come on July 26th at Mercer. I will furnish you with the address. You can come and see wonders for your very self. What the Liberian community leadership has done in a relatively short period of time. I mean, there are a lot of money up there, a lot of money, but you need to be well organized and structured. This is why we are going through the process now, forming our leadership by coming up with our committee. Mr. President has done extremely well by setting up very ad hoc committee that will be able to work in the interest of the community. And this is what we're going to do. For the first time, this is history. Under the leadership of Anthony Pai and Peter Massacre, we're going to have coordinators in every township that falls under Central Jersey and metro area. Those people will serve as a liaison between people that live in that area and that of the central offices. We know that the leadership cannot be everywhere at the same time, but we're going to empower people that will work with them. They will have their own structure, and then we will be able to give the general overview and supply that they need in terms of assistance that they need. So that's what we're going to do, Mr. Shelton. So we're working very hard. We think about our people back home, and we're doing the same thing here. We've been doing it on the private level, but now we are privileged to serve the community, and we are going back home to help our people. But we can't just think about everybody back home without putting ourselves together. We need to be organized. We need to be committed. This is why we are encouraging every Liberians come and sign up. We have the membership form that will be available. I have some at my office, 439 South Broad Street that I've been using. Uh, After the 26th, as the office open, it will be there. At least you can walk into an office to speak to your officials. If you have concern, you can ask. If you need job opportunity, you'll be placed in direct contact with an employer that willing to hire you based on your qualification. That's the difference we bring. That's the advantage we have, and we're going to use that.
So, Mr. Masako, now let's look at the leadership a little bit. You guys were recently elected. So how long is the first term of your leadership?
It's 2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
So, and when is induction?
Well, the induction will take place on October 28th
Okay.
at the Trenton West Trenton Ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big program. So because of the Independence Day program, we decided to push it back later to invite a lot of people because there will be a lot of high-profile dignitaries coming. You remember, it's a celebration for the president and vice president and elected officials. So we also want to use that as an opportunity to raise money to support these programs that we talk about. Because you remember, 12 years, no leadership, no bank account, nothing. And we started from there. Can you imagine just to organize the Independent Day program, it costs you a little over 18,000. And we're making it happy. We're making it. And I want to congratulate each and every member of the Liberian community who have been there. Like I mentioned before, the Fathers Day program, the Mothers Day program, these energetic young men and women, elderly people went deep into their pockets because they believe in the leadership and were able to make things happen. The
Okay.
community don't have nothing. There was no money in the budget, but they work together. So if you see Liberians coming together, that means that they all are interested in the benefit of everybody. It's not about me, myself, and I. It's about the good about the community. So we've been getting overwhelming support from our community members, and we ask for more, and we're encouraging every other Liberian to support this administration because, I mean, the train is moving, and it's moving very fast.
Yeah, look, you said something which sounds very important and it raises concern. You said for the past 12 years, the association or the community, in terms of leadership, did little or nothing. You took one organization that had no bank account. Tell
No,
us what was really happening or what happened
so,
at a
so,
time for the past 12 years.
so
Why you made no progress?
there were leadership in the Liberian community, but
Okay.
there were little dispute, like
Okay.
court issues. In the United States, if you have court situation, you cannot disrespect the court, and then you face problem. People
Okay.
working and doing all that stuff may not have the time to run all of these things, so it prolonged the situation. And then previous leadership that was there wasn't recognized by EULA. I can't speak to that because I'm not the official spokesperson of EULA. So
Okay.
people get tired doing one thing to another. But I'm glad that these very people that was in leadership before, they all came together and endorsed our team because they saw the vision. They believe in us. And I can tell you what, they are supporting us overwhelmingly. We never had any difficulties in obtaining documents for the organization that certified copy of business registration, tax ID number. They've been working with us collaboratively to get it done. So I mean, I was not around during that time working close to them, so I can't speak to most of the thing. But I think it was just little minor issues for the fact that they could put aside our differences and coming together to ensure that the community have a leadership that shows unity. And I want to say thank you to them that we went to election. It was very peaceful. I mean, it was a rainy day, and I saw the overwhelming support from the Liberian community. People that came from the metro areas and what have you. They mustered the courage under that rain to come and elect us. We want to say thank you to them, and we're not going to let them down. We are going to work, even though we have ideas, fresh ideas. We're still going to listen to them. We will continue to go to them for consultation because why? They are key stakeholders because these are things that bring problem in the community. If you just take leadership and feel like you know everything, you cannot consult with other people that have been holding the community. They may have their own issues, but at least the groundwork that they made in the past made us who we are today. So we have to recognize the work that they did. And this is why we are moving strong like this, because at least we have a foundation to move on, even though there was no leadership to
Thank you,
represent.
Peter. We're in
Yes.
the issues room. We're at the intermission right now. We just want to welcome all of you. I see a lot of newer folks here in the issues room, and I believe most of these folks are coming from the metro area, the central New Jersey area here to support your leadership. Joseph Kokro, Moses Yimpan, we say welcome. Jerry Kiawu, um, James Washington, Liam Washington. We see Vitals, Irving Euphrates Shelton, but from Monrovia. Welcome to the Issues Room. Tyler Miller. I know the name Tyler Miller. I know Tyler Miller.
It's a
Good
giant.
evening, Sis Tyler. Hope you're doing good. You know,
By the way,
you.
Tyler
I'm sure
Miller is
you.
one of the board
I'm sure
members.
you remember me.
Okay.
Vera B. Baye. We say welcome to the Issues Room as well. Conrad Yinkan. Veronica Colley for the first time, I believe. Tia Francis and Welle Tumuble. Welcome to all the Trenton. Is it Trentonians? To all of you folks. The Issues Room is a social media platform. We talk about Liberia, we talk about the diaspora, we talk about the black world, things of interest, whether political, health, and today we're talking Liberian Association. Our lines will be open momentarily in probably another 13 minutes. We'll open the lines at 8 o'clock. And so some of you who want to engage your leaders here tonight can be a part of the conversation. So again, we say welcome, welcome. But let's turn now to the
Director of
directors of
communication.
communication. He's been a little quiet because the vice president is speaking. You know, you gotta listen.
You gotta
Um,
listen to your
but
boss.
but, but the interesting thing here, Moses, both of them are very,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
articulative, and
yeah. They know the
they can't
issues.
stop
Yeah.
talking,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but let's come to the director of communications. I think the president has said, a vice president rather, has said some very important things. I see that you guys have laid out a lot to accomplish. Your role as the director of communication is to disseminate the information out there. Is to create the publicity. Um, what are some of the things that you have in your department or plans that you've put together in your department that you think can paint the picture that the leadership have painted that they want to accomplish in these 2 years for the first term?
Thank you so much, Mr. Shelton. First of all, one of the biggest problems we have in the Liberian community is disinformation. You say in a Liberian thing, you say I say. People are not willing to go to the real source. They just grab it and then they run with it. Example, there was a situation a couple of days ago. I was on the social media and somebody said the new administration is negotiating to get people fired from their position. Huh? How will Mr. Massacre, who is a CEO of his own company, go to negotiate with somebody about, fire David? So, as part of my job, I don't like to take things and run with it. So there was a particular name on that particular post. So I took the phone and called somebody that knew this person. Like, okay, can you give me this person number? So I talked to this person because there are two things. Somebody could impose, trying to pin the leadership back. Somebody could impose. So, all effort to get to the person failed. And at this point, we are still in the process of getting the souls, and there are a couple of press releases that will be issued to that effect. This is the reason. If we start to create this false information that Mr. Massacre, Mr. Anthony Paye, David Carpelli, Rufus Peters, they are going after people because of XYZ reason, then we're not prepared to be leaders in this community. So we are going to first of all dispel every romance from the source, and we want to use this public media to tell all of us if you hear something and you think you want to get the detail, contact us. And that is the reason the vice president said the ribbon will be cut. Come and know the office. Maybe you could get police issue. You could get a legal issue other than just police issue. You could get mental health issue. You need a help. You need to know where to go. So our part is to give this information to the public. The second thing, just to add up to what to the question, this is not a social organization where people go and get membership. Your membership to this organization is your birth certificate. Once you are a Liberian that live in central New Jersey and all metro area, automatically you become a member. So we are not even giving membership up. The president have instructed that we collect the bio data. So we're going to get a form out. So we just want to know your name, your address, your contact, your email, so that just in case your occupation. Say for instance, we have Liberian lawyers, we have Liberian doctors, we have Liberian nurses, we have Liberian insurance professionals, we have Liberian realtors. So, in case we have to talk to somebody in the community that is thinking about buying a house, should we say another realtor from another community go and sell the house to that person? No, we go into the database and furnish you with maybe 10 people that have their real license, estate licenses that you can be able to contact. They will break it down to you. Maybe somebody works somewhere that have opening for nurses, and then we go into our database, we get to know who is doing what. So that is the reason why we don't. This is not organization that's seeking membership. You're already a member. So all you need to do is when you get the information, when the bio data form is printed and placed at all of the shopping centers, the JY store, and how you call it, water, is that Waterside somewhere in Levittown area? So somewhere there,
Well, that's a
uh,
market.
Waterside market. So we are
Also, what
going
else
to
I got a branch out there?
yeah, somewhere. So we're going to put it all over the JY shop, the Jacob shop, the alleys, and everywhere that we know Liberian people are going to go. Just pick it up, fill it up, and leave it there. And then we're also going to go to churches, to pastors. And now at this point, we can't limit it to Liberian pastors because we know Liberians are in different churches. So we are going to target churches and say, hey, we have this form, you have Liberian population. All we asking you, encourage them to fill it out so we can track them, so we can talk to them. In time of happiness, in time of sadness, we can be able to track them. Mr. Masterquest struck a very good point. A couple of days ago, I think maybe a month or two, a Liberian kid, very potential kid, shot himself somewhere in Levittown, is that Levittown or Bristol area. I keep watching this kid video, very potential kid. And I said to myself every day, he was sending the signal that he needed somebody to talk to, but nobody was there. And have somebody step in when he needed the help, you know, he was going to be alive today to be part of our community. How many more of our kids going to go? A brother down in Trent, Hamilton area, Ben lost his family, his son actually. I didn't even know. I just heard people saying, but when we have the database, we can track this kind of situation and be able to help. So we are going to be giving lots of pieces of information out there to the public. All we want for you to do is consume it. If you have any concern, we are going to have a hotline. Like the president said, he's not going to break the news. I'm not going to break that news either. But I know what is being worked on at this point. All officials that are going to be actively involved with the community from the legal point, we're going to have a hotline. If you have a legal issue, our lawyer's going to have a hotline that you can just call a number and call the extension to that number and get the person. If you want to talk to the vice president, you're going to call the vice president. While he's at work, you're going to hit his hotline. You're going to get his extension. And this will bring the community together more. But think about it this way. I'm in Hamilton, right? And I want to talk to the mayor of my township. And then they're asking me, you think how many Liberians live out here in Hamilton? I can be sitting there and saying, but. I have to tell them, listen, we have 300 Liberians living out here. These Liberians have, each of them have 2 kids. So if you're making any kind of provision, you have to capture these kids into the plan. If there's any child care that you can give 50% discount, we need it. What grant are we qualified for? What can we do for our old folks? What can we do for those people migrating to this part of the United States? They need right to go to work. They need right to come to work. They need to settle. So those are things that we will be getting information from our leadership and will continue to publish. And we also want to encourage all of us living out here, get in the chat room. We have the chat room, is a WhatsApp chat room. We're going to get a Facebook chat room. We're going to get all of these social media platforms. Be a part of this group. That way, if you miss anything, you can go there and see. Most of the time, you're just going to see something. That way, you're not going to say, you say, they say, we say. This leadership is not witch hunting. This leadership is not after anybody's job. Let me make that clear. Anybody running with that information, stop it, because it's not going to help you. We are going to jealously protect the image of this organization because this is the subset of Liberia. It's our country. To be part of the organization, you just have to move in the area, period. You don't even need membership. Just give her your information that I move here. So it will
But
be up
but,
to
but with that gossip, Thomas, why do you understands voluntary work is saying that how can someone be fired if they're voluntary? I'm sure you guys in the leadership are not being
Can you
paid.
explain that?
So
Yeah.
No,
who are
no,
you
it's
guys?
not about.
No,
It's
no,
not.
no.
This is not
Let me
about.
So
This,
explain that
this,
because I'm a little
right.
lost
Let me
here.
let me let me let me first of all say this is not about the Liberian Community Association position. This
Okay,
is
all right.
about somebody coming up with a guy say, I don't want to really go into the detail until I talk to the person.
Okay, so is
But
some
this
of you
person,
officials, is there some of you officials who have your private businesses or
somebody
leaders?
alleged, somebody
Okay,
alleged that there is a Liberian working with the city of Trenton or some city out here that have alleged that the newly elected leadership of this community have gone in talk with the city of Trenton or the township of Hamilton to say fire John Brown from their position. And we are saying
Okay.
Mr. Massaquoi is not looking for job to say fire David from his private work. Our interest is to put people to work. Like Mr. Masakwe rightly stated, we are going to have a first-time shopping place for job. So why would Mr. Masakwe be looking for job for people who are already unemployed and then go back to make other people unemployed? It don't make sense. So I want to say we are not witch hunting anybody at this point, and not anybody have been commissioned. Nobody have represented the Liberian Community Association to any organization of their employment to say terminate their contract, terminate their employment because they don't work, they don't support the Liberian Community Association current leadership. We want for that particular information to be clear that this is not a policy of this leadership, and this leadership will remain firm to protect the image of the Liberian community. Guess what? Somebody asked, but you guys are not doing nothing in Liberia, blah, blah, blah. All our organizations have not been making impact. Yeah, that's true. But there have been no structure. There have been no structure here. In the absence of a structure, who do you ask? And people, if you even go to the people that have been deported, there are cases that when you look at their deportation cases, you say, hey, we could have found a lawyer for this person. This is why the Liberian community, Central New Jersey, comes in for our people who make mistakes and they need help. So the primary role of this organization is to protect everybody here under our jurisdiction.
So,
quickly,
Mr.
Moses,
Director,
I just want to
yeah, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
just want to tell
Mhm.
folks the lines are open. You
Sure.
can call now. The number 404 272 2808. Again, 404 272 2808. Call to engage Mr. Massaquoi and Mr. Copuli. The conversation here is about the Liberian Community Association in central New Jersey here in the U.S. Maybe we don't have the expertise to ask all the questions, but you in the community could do a better job. So call. The number is, yeah, the lines rather is open. And so you can see the number on the screen 404 272 2808. Moses.
Yeah. So, Mr. Director, just before I ask a question, I just want to say something regarding this hearsay or gossip that the vice president that he's working with people in higher places in New Jersey to hire other individuals for whatever reasons that people claim. But I strongly believe that it's difficult for anyone to wrap his or her head around that, because the United States is a country of uh, the rule of law. The country adheres to the rule of law.
Moses,
And so, yeah.
could you
So,
just pause? Let me take this caller quick.
sure, sure, sure,
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
All right. The caller, where you calling from? Your name?
Yeah. Good evening, good morning. My name is Abraham Colley, and I do join you from Liberia, Monrovia to be specific. I listen to your guests uh, speaking about unity, bringing back unity, reconciling the differences. What are the strategies in terms of reconciling those disputes that they are coming on board with? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
So
So,
you care if
So,
I respond to that?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
answer
I'll tell
first.
Mr.
Yeah.
Quali for clarity.
just be
There's
very
no
brief,
dispute.
Mr. Vice
There's
President.
no dispute in the Liberian community. Since the elections, during electoral process, you have two sides that go for campaign purposes. During the period of campaign, there will be claims and counterclaims in order to win votes or to make a specific case to your opponent. After the election, people should accept the result and move forward. We have been working very hard to ensure that every single Liberians that fall under the jurisdiction of the Central Jersey and the metro areas come on board. We are inviting them. We are letting them know that this community is there for you. I mean, some people may be fortunate to own big businesses, uh, maybe get a fabulous job if you want, but that doesn't in any way means that you cannot work with the community. Remember, we are all volunteering. I own a company that hires so many people. I can choose to stay to my house or go on vacation everywhere around the world. I don't need approval for anybody. But that does not exempt me from doing community work. So we want to encourage people, like the director of communication stated, one of the ways we can lay aside hold this information is that when you get information from somebody, especially in an Liberian community, where they will say they say, or someone told me they don't want to disclose it. In general, they will say they don't want to disclose that source. You have to reach out to the leadership. If you reach out to the leadership will be able to intervene. If you reach out to the leadership and the leadership fails to intervene, then you should get problem with the leadership. But in the absence of reaching out to the leadership and just go on Facebook because you want to buy sentiments for certain individual, that's not fair. So that's how we encouraging all Liberians. We know sometimes our people get overwhelmed by information. We quit to get adjusted to it, which maybe it's not good into our ears and say, why must this happen? The person doing bad. But we need to verify these things. So we just want to encourage everybody out there. Come on board, let's work together. If you are part of a specific organization, like for example, we have the Iron Barrow, we have the Elegant Ladies, and several other groups. Nobody say you can be part of those groups because you know what? The leadership role is different. The Liberian community plays different role, and these little organizations play different role. But they are umbrella organizations within the Liberian community that we all can work to support them. Take for instance, if there's a grant from the city of Trenton or from the state of New Jersey, that maybe the community leadership saw or need to advance on a project and we propose for this money and we get maybe the 100,000. You think I am Barrow will not get on as a social club if they're into the community doing other stuff? We need implementing partners. We're not going to leave our sister organization and go to the Latino people and say, hey, my man, do the work because you get expertise. No. This is why Mr. Sandy and Mr. Shelton, the community is going to involve the leaders of every auxiliary groups within this community. We're going to reach out to them. They will be part of various committees, planning committees, different type of committees. By living in a committee where someone believe in the community, they'll be able to reach out, get information, come to the leadership, we reach out to them. So
let me just take this call, Mr. Maxikwe.
So people need to reach out to us other than just spreading misinformation. Like the director
You heard
said,
me, Mr. Maxikwe?
yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me just take this caller quick. The
Okay.
caller is calling from New Jersey. 6511 is the last number. Your name?
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Yeah, my name is Orlando Nika.
Welcome to the issues
I
room.
want to thank my two brothers in the studio there with you. Something they touched, and it's good when you go on this kind of show. You should have the facts, and for every time you want to say something, people be listening. So if you have to talk on the topic or something that you heard from outside and you don't have in the past, don't say anything about it until you get it back before you speak. I heard my brother Coffee talking about. He had a news that someone trying to take someone's job. He's trying to mislead you people. That's not why. That's not why they said to him. I don't know why he got the message from.
Do you want to clarify? Do you want to quickly clarify?
He should have asked the vice president that's sitting with him, because the vice president also know exactly what is going on. He heard about it and called somebody and telling the person, say, please, when anybody call you, don't say anything about it because we don't want no problem. Listen, we went to election, the election's over. We all are Liberians, we're in Clinton. The election is over. So there's no need for people will go after somebody because the person will run against you or because the person is in working to a place that you yourself you're working or look, they say they were one of the fields. We treat them professional old timers, all right? Let me clarify to you. We every year we've been celebrating since the Liberian community they're in problem. We always celebrate the Independence Day in this area. Every year. From the beginning of the year, we go and rent the field from the city. When we leave the field, we use the field because we're having a soccer team. All right? So after the election, and we came together as people, as organization.
Let the caller get to the point, please.
Caller, quickly, let's wrap this up because you sway. I'm coming, Moses. You're swaying from the statement you made. You said
just ask a question and we'll move on.
I'm telling you
the fact now. What I'm saying, why he David Company are talking about? You don't have the facts.
Okay.
How do you know that he doesn't have the facts?
Went to the city and launched my person in the call Hector Weir complained to the city, beside the city to the state of New Jersey, the Attorney General office. I investigated, saying that the man is to stop leasing a soccer field to people in the Liberian community. That is so bad.
Okay.
I have a question for Mr. Orlando Yinka because I listened to the director of communication. He did not mention of anybody, right?
Why you should have done?
Hold on, Peter.
Get in contact with the other party, get the facts before you go on show and start talking things that you don't know nothing about.
But there was nothing
lying over there.
Hold on.
Saying things that you don't know about.
Yinka. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's do this quick. There was nothing stated here that had to do with any disclosure. Mr. Copley did not disclose anything, right? The second thing here, are you still a member of the LCA? Are you still a part of this community?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a Liberian.
Are you still a part of the community?
I belong to an organization.
Are you still a part of the community?
Yes.
Okay, then just work with the leadership.
So I'm working with the leadership, but the leadership is
let me just
all right.
Let me just respond.
Let people believe you.
Okay.
That's how here.
Thank you for your time.
Let me just respond. Yeah. And the good thing is we live in the technology age. So like I said, when I got the information, I have in my possession a screenshot of the conversation. And I did call a couple of people. I stated here because I wanted to reach the person that placed this so that I get to know. And again, I remain firm. And if there was another way I could send the screenshot to you so you publish it so people see it.
Send it to me. I will send it to him. I get a couple of them.
So I'm going to share it with Peter. Peter will share it. And I beg for the sake of this community, please put it on the screen so they see that this is something written by somebody that Mr. Orlando claimed to be, that knows very well. And that's the reason I reached out. I could have taken this and places that, so I make counterclaims. Yeah, I just send it, Peter. Please send it and let it publish it. And yesterday, I can give you names of people I call. Let me tell you something. We cannot fix this community based on not accepting people when we lose or win election. You can't just trust the process when you win the process. Also trust the process when you lose the process. That is the reason why you go through the process. Now, Othello or Olano is talking as if to say, I did not even talk about field. Okay, policing the field, like the vice president said, and I said in my opening statement, there have been serious leadership problems. And are we giving credit to people that stood up in the process? Yeah, there were social organizations that came in and said, oh, yeah, we want to be in the space. But just because the CDC was a political party operating the country in Liberia when there was no central government, don't make it right when there's election and the president is in authority now for the CDC to say, okay, we can work with the Liberian government. That's what Mr. Olano is saying here. You went to the process. You serve as campaign manager for a candidate. You lost. Accept it, lick your wound, let move. This is the community. Everybody that live here is part of the community. So if somebody say the Trenton leadership has gone all time low,
Let me read what was sent to me quick.
Go.
And you
do
can
you want
also
me-
avocado, you can read it and also display it on camera.
Yeah, I'll see if it's possible through
Yeah.
the
On
but
camera.
do you want me to disclose the name that wrote this?
Yeah,
disclose
disclose
everything.
it. People want disclosure.
It's a public
Disclose
record.
it.
Okay. So this was written by Rosie King Miles. Rosie King Miles. And she said the Liberian community in Trenton, New Jersey has reached an all-time low. I'm referring to how some of their members are trying to mess with people's jobs. Y'all sure y'all want to go there? Y'all really want to play that game with somebody like me involved? Screenshot this too. I just made it public for all to see. I said what I said. And I see some comments here, but can't see those comments.
And I tell you two more. Read the other two. And one of those two came from one of the very bold members from the community, but also support the then former opponent for the stuff. So our thing here is the community is not after anybody. We are all one people. You know the president very well. You know his telephone number. You know the vice president office. You know his telephone number. We are all professional colleagues. If you get information that a specific Liberian citizen fall within the Liberian community, wrote a letter to your, I don't work to your job. I don't know who your bosses are. I'm an employer too. I focus on my staff, not SS person staff. But if you get information and you think somebody from the community try to injure you, the role of the community is to intervene and settle dispute, to solve problem. Did any of them, before going on social media, contact the community to let us know what was going on? Did they submit any complaint? I personally, I can show you text messages that I have sent out, phone calls that I have made to intervene just to get to the bottom of the rumors. That there have been no single person that ever answered my phone to tell me, say, oh, Mr. SRZ, we said this or this. Now, first of all, there was a rumor that they alleged that Mr. President Anthony Pai and R. Peter Massacre wrote a letter to the mayor office. I'm not a personal friend to the mayor. I don't need the mayor to do anything for me. I don't need money from mayor. I don't need job from mayor. I work for myself. I'm a self-employed and I'm part of that. I don't need nothing from the city hall. I make even more income than the mayor. So I don't need job from him. That's one there. Number two, we reach out. You know the leadership. If you respect the leadership and recognize them to be people that advocate for you or work for you, you should be able to communicate with them. But you did not. You went to social media and started bringing in the community as though that the community is the one witch hunting you. That's absolutely wrong. We shouldn't do that. We are all brothers. We should be there to watch each other back.
And Peter, sadly, social media is the place now where everybody runs to.
Exactly.
All this hullabaloo,
Orlando Yinka
you know.
that want to come on the broadcast and deny it. When Mr. Olano and myself, I confronted Mr. Oyano yesterday on similar issue, he couldn't even give me a chance simply because he listened to one-sided story and didn't call my phone for clarity. That's wrong. We are all brothers here. Election come and go. First of all, the community cannot go after any social club or any local organization here because why? We have different roles to play in the community. My only thing is, as a community, we should be able to work together in coexistence. If the community is having an event, they welcome all other local organizations to form part. If those local organizations having an event in the community, which of course we highly appreciate because it helps move the community going forward. If you so desire, you can involve the leadership of the community. We'll come and support you. We can say, hey, our brother is having this program, go there and support our brother. But you choose not to attend any event. Mr. Odana Yinka, since the inception of the leadership, has he wanted to attend any event organized by the community leadership? No. Is he available? Yes. Did he choose to ignore it? Yes. These are the same people that want to accuse the community for doing something that we didn't do. Look, we have bigger things to think about. We are all here to work in the interest of our people. If any of our brother in problem, we will go there to support our brother because we don't want to see our brother down. But until my brother can reach out to me to let me know what is happening, call the name of the individuals who we all can investigate it. If we have to shame the person publicly, we'll shame them. If we have to discourage them from doing it in the future, we'll discourage them. Then don't cast that on everybody. It's not the community leadership. I can challenge anybody now. If anybody listening to the podcast can show any communication whatsoever with the name of the president, the vice president, member of the board, or member of the executive, signature affixed to it, I will resign because it's a fraud. I don't want to be part of any syndicate. There is no one, nothing whatsoever to show.
But look, Mr. Vice President and Mr. Director of Communication, let me just say something here quickly. As I was saying earlier, the United States is a country that respects the rule of law. No one sitting in one little corner will just tell another manager, say, or a director or a company owner, say, hey, dismiss this person.
Exactly.
Any illegal dismissal, that comes with serious legal implications. If you terminate somebody here wrongly, that means that you have thousands of dollars to spend. So I think it is preposterous for anyone to think that someone sitting in one little corner will try to influence the dismissal of any other person. I think, what you guys,
Moses, I think we should lay that segment of rest and move on.
Yeah.
We never came on the platform to discuss.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
the community
stay with me. Stay with me.
Yeah.
We are focusing on our programs, and we are encouraging all Liberians to support us. If anybody feel that they are injured along the way for anything, they can reach out to us. We'll look into that and solve the problem. But we are here to make peace with everybody. We are here to move forward. We are all one big family. We are no enemies here, and we don't want to encourage anybody because if I see anybody that support me doing, we're not in campaign period. But as vice president for the community that support the president's vision and help run the secretariat, I will not condone any act for anybody, any member of the organization to go after another person. That's not going to work under my watch. And I know for sure Mr. President is not going to allow that as well. We should be able to settle our differences in-house, even if one exists, before going to social media.
All right.
Let's come to the leadership
of the organization.
Yeah. You kind of breeze around it, but give us the plan here for October. What is expected? Keynote speaker? Are you guys planning? Is it going to be a ball? Is the issues room invited? And how many people coming? Well, let's talk about that.
Are you talking about the inauguration program?
I think you said August there. Is it August?
Inauguration in October?
He said October.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So Mr. President will announce the committee immediately after the July 26th program. But because right after election, we have to start rapid preparation for the Independence Day. We never wanted to conflict anything. So we decided to focus on the Independence Day. Right after the Independence Day, matter of fact, at the Independent Board, we will officially unveil the chairman for the inaugural committee, at which time that committee will start playing. But it will be an elaborate programs. We're going to bring in all stakeholders in the community, people from different states, Trenton, New Jersey will be a place to be. There will be a lot of activities going on to comments because we want to draw attention that our community is united and we want to raise money to support our programs here in the United States and back home in Liberia. So, of course, in fact, October is far. I want to officially invite the issue room to participate in the Liberia's Independence Day program on July 23rd. If you can make it to the soccer field for the Sports and Cultural Festival, you're wholeheartedly welcome. I will send you the invitation to join us at the Independent Board here in Trenton. And also, you're wholeheartedly welcome for the hosting of the Liberian flag on July 26th. You can come on the 25th at the City Hall at 5 p.m. or you can, if you can make it on Monday on the 26th itself, you can make it to our Mercer. We'll furnish you with the invitation because one of the media that we had, we want to make sure we empower several Liberian media because trust me, there will be even ABC News, CPN News, CNN will have reporters there. It coming from the committee that doing it for us. They handle the media budget. So we want to make sure that we're bringing our own media people because it's all about empowerment. Remember we said that if opportunity there, we have to bring in our people. So we want to welcome you guys to come and join us to support us during that process. That's all.
Well, quickly, someone just said that Moses Yimpa is saying that we should bring in Mrs. Miller to throw some light on it. Why? The line's open. Mrs. Miller can call. Mrs. Miller, if you want to say something, 404-272-2808. You just call and we'll give you the opportunity. Yeah, Moses.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, besides the director of communication, the vice president, and the president, Mr. Vice President, could you tell us the other officials, the name of the other officials, of the LCA?
So Moses, before Mr. Vice President, before you go in, there's a Californian caller here.
Mrs. Miller, Tyler Miller.
Okay, so Tyler Miller is
Mrs.
on the
Miller.
line. Mrs. Tyler Miller. Welcome to the issues room. Could you please lower the monitor you have there before?
Okay, let me. It's Tyler Miller. It's not California.
No, your number is saying California.
Yeah, it's a California number.
That's what I said, a California number.
Yeah. So, Tyler, welcome to the issues room.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Lower
sure.
this for me. Let me just step away from it. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Wow, we gotta catch up.
Long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. But anyway, you're following the conversation. What is it you want to contribute?
I know Moses has said about the inaugural program. First of all, I'm one of those elected to serve on the board of directors for the Liberian Community Association. And I just want to encourage our people, like our vice president said, there were issues in our community for a while, but we chose to move forward. We put those issues behind us and we chose to move forward. So I'm asking my brothers and sisters in the community, let background be background, jump on board the train and let us all ride together. And let's bring our community to where we want it to be.
Yeah.
It may not have been good, or it may not have been how we wanted it in the past, but now we have a new leadership that is steering the ship of the community. Let us all jump on board and work. And we know our inauguration is coming up. The 28th of October is our inauguration for our president and vice president. And we're going to be announcing our inaugural team. And like our vice president said, it's going to be an elaborate event. So we want to encourage everybody, jump on board and let's make that day a grand one.
Okay.
So, Mr. Strata, I want to thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
And I look forward to talking to you again.
Oh, yeah, we got to catch up, man. It's been so long.
I know. You ran away from me.
I know. We will catch up. Don't worry. We'll catch up.
Okay.
We come a long way.
Long way.
Yeah, we gotta catch up. I would like to know the advances in your life, and I'm sure you'll like to know the advances in my life.
Yes, yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much for calling.
All right,
All right.
Tyler.
All right. So
Thank you for calling.
Gentlemen, we have 5 minutes to wrap up.
So to answer Mr. Sandy's
Yeah,
question,
the other officers.
we have a well-structured leadership.
Okay.
I'm grateful that we have Mr. Anthony Paye The third, he is the president, my boss. Peter Masiko, the vice president. We have Jerry Kerr, who is the financial secretary. We have William Roberts, he is the secretary general. We have Kona Mabani, she is the assistant secretary general that support the work of the butchers the work of the secretary general. We have
Mhm.
Patricia Jala, she is the treasurer. So from the executive side, those are the officials, and then we have 7 board members, which of course Tyler Miller is part of. We have Mr. Rupert Peters, he's the chairman of the board. We have Flex Isaiah, we have Mona Cecilia Kofaduo, we have Goba, we have Prince Bay. There are 7 in numbers. So
Okay.
the role of the board is to help settle dispute in the community, help support the executive in terms of programs to raise money and move the community forward. So, like I said, we just started, and we are happy so far. We're moving forward, and we want to say thank you to everybody that have been supporting us so far, and we're looking forward to more better collaboration to strengthen the community because as leaders, the people look up to us. So we need to hold together in trial times to see how best we can forge ahead. Because Mr. Sandy, like I said, of all of the stories we've been getting, it touched my heart. This is why I decided to leave my own comfort zone for my business, my
Yeah.
family. I decided to volunteer to help the community. And I trust the ability of everyone that was elected to this position. We are all young people that are capable of making the difference. So we
Okay.
want to encourage everybody to work together. Let's support the program of the community leadership so that we can be able to help because there are a lot of younger people down there that are looking up to us. So we have to serve as a driving force to help transform them so they can be motivated. That way, if we're leaving, they can come to take leadership too.
Okay.
Mr. Copley, any final word?
Yeah, let me say thank you to Mr. Vakani Shatton and Mr. Moses Sandy,
Thank
my
you.
boss, the vice president, Mr. Peter Mensakwe, my friend and brother Moses Nyimpa, he works with me with in this public affair area, and my brother Nyika Orlando that had a concern. And I continue to say this. We have to stop the issue of you say, I say, they say. We can continue to live on the issue of misinformation. This is our community. Like somebody raised a point, and which I agree with. Almost all of the associations of Liberians out here, there's confusion, people pulling down people. We have to start to pull people up. So moving forward, we want to ask all of us that live within this community to please, the bio data form will be coming up. We're asking you, fill it up. We're building the database. We want to know what you're doing, where you are, your address, so that way when something happens, when we're sending the mail out, you know, the invite out for any activities, you can capture it. So I want to say thank you again. I'm so happy, for this opportunity. And I want to say thank you to the president, Mr. Anthony Pai, for giving me the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. It was good having the both of you here tonight. Peter, good plan of actions. We hope that these things will come to pass, irrespective of the differences in the organization. I'm sure there's majority on board, and sooner or later, those people who are still fence sitting will come on board. We wish your organization well, and the issues room will partner with you guys to make sure that you succeed, because this is about the community and particularly the Liberian community here in the United States. So thank you so much for availing yourselves here tonight. We'll take leave of you as Moses and I
And
wrap up.
no, quickly, Volcano, just before the leave, or let me ask the vice president this question, which is very critical. Your membership, are they required to pay dues? And if they are, what is the monthly due?
$5 per month.
Oh, okay.
five
Yeah.
dollars. So since the leadership took over, we decided to give everyone a break to readjust and come together. That's
Yeah.
why the communication director is working on the biodata form. So as people pay the $5, we put that information into the system. I mean, it's just that to support stationary and what have you. But
Yeah.
we are encouraging everybody to support the initiative on the $5 due payment. But per the Constitution, yes, there is due payment for $5 per month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Well, Moses, I think they have a good plan, and let's hope that unity will prevail so that they can
Absolutely.
succeed as a the new leadership. From what we hear, the organization has been probably seemed like object dormant for a while,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
with nothing happening. And what bothers me is that we're so resourceful. Many
Oh
Liberians
yeah.
here in the U.S. are very resourceful. We have developed in many areas of our lives
Yeah.
professionally,
Hmm.
and yet
Hmm.
we cannot come together to enhance our communities, our internal communities, and then expand that expertise and resources out to the greater community and impact not just the Liberian community, but the African diaspora
Yeah.
and the motherland. There's always the riffraff, the fighting, they're unnecessary. And because someone is not at the helm of leadership, it means that nothing gonna happen.
Hmm.
I think you can only support your leaders, hoping that they do the best thing. And if they don't, then you point out, then you hold them accountable. But the people barely 2 months, and yet
You will start
they're
fighting there
already
already. Yeah.
accusing of losing their jobs and firing people and all of that. That is very petty.
Very petty. Look, like the guy said, it's time for the LCA to move forward. And if you're not on the train, I would like to join the leadership in asking all Liberians in central New Jersey to get on the train. 12 years wasted. So you got to keep moving, man. We have to work together as a community. So I would like to join you, Volcano, and saying thanks to Mr. Kapili and Vice President Peter Masaquet for coming. It was a pleasure having it. I think it was a great discussion.
Thank you, Moses.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good night.
Yeah. Enjoy. Bye.
I want to thank all of you for joining the Issues Room here on our 74th edition, live here tonight. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Volcano Shelton here with you. We want to say good evening to Conrad Yinkan, or Conrad Yinkan, Abraham Cully in Monrovia, Thomas Awachi, thanks for coming through, Tyler Miller, Mrs. Tyler Miller, um, Emmanuel Jackson, thank you so much for joining us here, Wella Tumu Blade, River says Pro, Moses Yimpa. It was good having you in here for the first time. Make the Issues Room your community platform. Mizola Gizi of the LPR, Liberia Public Radio. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Moglo Wehe, it was good having you. Kumba Abu from Monrovia. Jacob Roberts, T.S. Francis, Veronica Colley. It was good having you in the house, Vera Baye, and the rest of everyone who showed up here tonight. We'll be back here on Friday. Don't know the conversation yet, but the promo will come out. Please share the link, spread the word. Join us here for community discussions, political discussions, whatever it is. We talk Liberia, we talk the Black diaspora, and we talk the continent of Africa. Thank you. Good night.